Guten Morgen, meine Lieben. Heute ist der 24. März. Es ist nicht der 24. März. Es ist der 23. März. Oh. Ich habe so eine Woche lang falsche Daten eingetragen in meiner Bibel. Turbo-Arsches. Wie heute ist der 23. März? Ich weiß es. Anyway, heute ist der 23. März. Ich muss das jetzt schon umschreiben. Nein, ich schreibe es nachher drum. Einfach nicht anschauen, das ist nicht weh. Heute ist der 23. März, Morgensession. Ja, ich bin immer noch in Lissabon mit dem Ishan. Heute gehen wir irgendwo auf Citro, irgendeine andere Stadt, mega schön, falls du es gesehen. Ich habe ein bisschen verschlafen, aber das ist perfekt für mich, weil ich schlafe mega gern. Und dann will ich früh aufstehen, statt zu schauen, bla 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 bla. So, I mean, perfekt. Ja. Und ich so, es ist jetzt 9 Uhr. Aber ich so, ich möchte schlafen. Ich so, hey Bro, ruhig. Ich muss noch eine Bible Study machen. Also ja, das ist schon mal alles Gucci. Und ich freue mich auf das. Ich bin gespannt, wie der Tag wird. Ich habe gestern viel philosophiert, nachgedacht und es ist mir gewisse Sachen klar geworden. Aber es ist gut. Es ist wirklich gut. Und ich freue mich, mehr Zeit mit Gott zu verbringen. As long as I have my eyes locked on God, wird alles mega gut und mega schön. As long as I keep my eyes on Him, I ignore the temptations left and right, and I just stay locked in with God, beautiful things will keep coming into my life and He will keep blessing me if I keep my eyes locked on Him. Beautiful things are gonna happen. Looking forward to it. Anyway, I'm gonna continue reading in 1 Samuel. Today I continued 1 Samuel 8. And yeah, looking forward. So, Israel requests a king. 1 Samuel 8. As Samuel grew old, he appointed his sons to be judges over Israel. Joel and Abijah, his oldest sons, held court in Beersheba. But they were not like their father, for they were greedy for money. They accepted bribes and perverted justice. Finally, all the elders of Israel met at Ramah to discuss the matter with Samuel. Look, they told him, you are now old and your sons are not like you. Give us a king to judge us like all the other nations have. Samuel was displeased with their request and went to the Lord for guidance. Do everything they say to you, the Lord replied, for they are rejecting me, not you. They don't want me to be their king any longer. Ever since I brought them from Egypt, they have continually abandoned me and followed other gods. Now they are giving you the same treatment. Do as they ask, but solemnly warn them about the way a king will reign over them. Samuel warns against the kingdom. So Samuel passed on the Lord's warning to the people who were asking him for a king. This is how a king will reign over you, Samuel said. The king will draft your sons and assign them to his chariots and his charioteers, making them run before his chariots. Some will be generals and captains in his army. Some will be forced to plow in his fields and harvest his crops, and some will make his weapons and chariots equipment. The king will take your daughters from you and force them to cook and bake and make perfumes for him. He will take away the best of your fields and vineyards and olive groves and give them to his own officials. He will take 1/10 of your grain and your grapes harvest and distribute it amongst his officers and attendants. He will take your male and female slaves and demand the finest of your cattle. and donkeys for his own use. He will demand 1/10 of your flocks, and you will be his slaves. When that day comes, you will beg for relief from this king you are demanding, but then the Lord will not help you." But the people refused to listen to Samuel's warning. "Even so, we still want a king," they said. "We want to be like the nations around us. Our king will judge us and lead us into battle." So Samuel repeated to the Lord what the people had said, and the Lord replied, "Do as they say and give them a king." Then Samuel agreed and sent the people home. Saul meets Samuel, 1 Samuel 9. There was a wealthy, influential man named Kish from the tribe of Benjamin. He was the son of Abiel, son of Zero, son of Bechorat, son of Aphiad, of the tribe of Benjamin. His son Saul was the most handsome man in Israel, head and shoulders taller than anyone else in the land. One day Kish's donkey strayed away, and he told Saul, "Take a servant with you, and go look for the donkeys." So Saul took one of the servants and traveled through the hill country of Ephraim, the land of Shalisha, the Shalim area, and the entire land of Benjamin, but they couldn't find the donkeys anywhere. Finally, they entered the region of Suf, and Saul said to his servant, "Let's go home. By now my father will be worried about us. Will be more worried about us than about the donkeys." But the servant said, "You've just thought of something. There is a man of God who lives here in this town. He is held in the highest honor by all the people because everything he says comes true. Let's go find him. Perhaps he can tell us which way to go." "But we don't have anything to offer him," Saul replied. "Even our food is gone, and we don't have a thing to give him." "Well," the servant said, "I have one small silver piece. We can at least offer it to the man of God and see what happens." In those days, if the people wanted a message from God, they would say, "Let's go and ask a seer," for prophets used to be called seers. "All right," Saul agreed, "let's try it." So they started into the town where the man of God lives. As they were climbing the hill to the town, they met some young women coming down to draw water. So Saul and his servant asked, "Is the seer here today?" "Yes," she replied. "Stay right here on this road. He is at the town gates. He has just arrived to take part in a public sacrifice up at a place of worship. Hurry and catch him before he goes up there to eat. The guests won't begin eating until he arrives to bless the food." So they entered the town, and as they passed through the gates, Samuel was coming out towards them to go up to the place of worship. Now the Lord had told Samuel the previous day, "About this time tomorrow I will send you a man from the land of Benjamin. Anoint him to be the leader of my people Israel. He will rescue them from the Philistines, for I have looked down on my people in mercy and have heard their cry." When Samuel saw Saul, the Lord said, "That's the man I told you about. He will rule my people." Just then Saul approached Samuel at the gateway and asked, "Can you please tell me where the seer's house is?" "I am the seer," Samuel replied. "Go up to the place of worship ahead of me. We will eat there together, and in the morning I will tell you what you want to know and send you on your way. And don't worry about the donkeys that were lost 3 days ago, for they have been found. I'm here to tell you that you and your family and all the focus of all Israel's hopes. I'm here to tell you that you and your family are the focus of all Israel's hopes." Saul replied, "But I'm only from the tribe of Benjamin, the smallest tribe of Israel, and my family is the least important of all the families of that tribe. Why are you talking like this to me?" Then Samuel brought Saul and his servant into the hall and placed them at the head of the table, honoring them above the 30 special guests. Samuel then instructed the cook to bring Saul the finest cut of meat, the piece that has been set aside for the guest of honor. So the cook brought in the meat and placed it before Saul. "Go ahead and eat it," Samuel said. "I was saving it for you even before I invited the others." So Saul ate with Samuel that day. When they came down from the place of worship and returned to towns, Samuel took Saul up to the roof of the house and prepared a bed for him there. At daybreak the next morning, Samuel called to Saul, "Get up, it's time you were on your way." So Saul got ready, and he and Samuel left the house together. When they reached the edge of the town, Samuel told Saul to send his servant on ahead. After the servant was gone, Samuel said, "Stay here, for I have received a special message for you from God." Ten. Samuel anoints Saul as king. Then Samuel took a flask of olive oil and poured it over Saul's head. He kissed Saul and said, "I am doing this because the Lord has appointed you to be the ruler over Israel, his special possession. When you leave me today, you will see 2 men besides Rachel's tomb at Zelzah, on the border of Benjamin. They will tell you that the donkeys have been found and that your father has stopped worrying about them and is now worried about you. He is asking, 'Have you seen my son?' And when you get to the oak of Tabor, you will see 3 men coming towards you, who are on their way to worship God at Bethel. One will bring 3 young goats, another will have 3 loaves of bread, and the third will be carrying a wineskin full of wine. They will greet you and offer you 2 of their loaves, which you are to accept. When you arrive at Gibeah of God, where the garrison of the Philistines is located, you will meet a band of prophets coming down from the place of worship. They will be playing a harp, and a tambourine, a flute, and a lyre, and they will be prophesying. At that time, the Spirit of the Lord will come powerful upon you, and you will prophesy with them. You will be changed into a different person. After these signs take place, do whatever must be done, for God is with you. Then go down to Gilgal ahead of me. I'll join you there to sacrifice burnt offerings and peace offerings. You must wait for 7 days until I arrive and give you further instructions." Samuel's signs are fulfilled. As Saul turned and started to leave, God gave him a new heart. And Samuel's signs were fulfilled that day. When Saul and his servant arrived at Gibeah, they saw a group of prophets coming toward them. Then the Spirit of God came powerfully upon Saul, and he too began a prophecy. When those who knew Saul heard about it, they exclaimed, "What? Is even Saul a prophet? How did the son of Kish become a prophet?" And one of those standing there said, "Can anyone become a prophet no matter who his father is?" So that is the origin of the saying, "Is even Saul a prophet?" When Saul had finished prophesying, he went up to the place of worship. "Where have you been?" Saul's uncle asked him and his servant. "We were looking for the donkeys," Saul replied, "but we couldn't find them. So we went to Samuel to ask him where they were." "Oh, and what did he say?" his uncle asked. "He told us that the donkeys had already been found," Saul replied. But Saul didn't tell his uncle what Samuel said about the kingdom. Saul is acclaimed king. Later, Samuel called the people of Israel to meet before the Lord at Mizpah. And he said, "This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, has declared. I brought you from Egypt and rescued you from the Egyptians, and for all of these nations are oppressing you. But though I have rescued you from your misery and distress, you have now rejected your God today and have said, 'No, you want a king instead.' Therefore, Present yourselves before the Lord by tribes and clans." So Samuel brought all the tribes of Israel before the Lord, and the tribe of Benjamin was chosen by lot. And then he brought each family of the tribe of Benjamin before the Lord, and the family of the Metrites was chosen. And finally Saul, the son of Kish, was chosen from among them. But they looked for him. He had disappeared, so they asked the Lord, "Where is he?" And the Lord replied, "He is hiding amongst the baggage." So they found him and brought him out, and he stood head and shoulders above anyone else. Then Samuel said to all the people, "This is the man the Lord has chosen as your king. No one of Israel is like him." All the people shouted, "Long live the king!" Then Samuel told the people that the rights and duties of a king, were. He wrote them down on a scroll and placed it before the Lord. Then Samuel sent the people home again. When Saul returned to his home at Gibeah, a group of men whose hearts God had touched were with him. But there were some scoundrels who complained, "How can this man save us?" And they scorned him and refused to bring him gifts. But Saul ignored them. In brackets, Nahash, king of Amorites, Saul ignored them. Holy shit. Nahash, king of Amorites, had been grievously oppressing the people of Gad and Reuben who lived in the east of the Jordan River. He gouged out the right eye of each of the Israelites living there, and he didn't allow anyone to come and rescue them. In fact, all of the Israelites east of Jordan, there wasn't a single one whose right eye Nahash had not gouged out. But there were 7,000 men who had escaped from the Amorites, and they had settled in Jabesh Gilead. Saul defeats the Amorites. Samuel 11. About a month later, King Nahash of Ammon led his army against the Israelite town of Jabesh Gilead. But all the citizens of Jabesh asked for peace. "Make a treaty with us, and we will be your servants," they pleaded. "All right," Nahash said, "but only on one condition. I will gouge out the right eye of every one of you as a disgrace to all Israel." "Give us 7 days to send messengers throughout Israel," replied the elders of Jabesh. "If no one comes to save us, we will agree to your terms." Then the messenger of Gibeah of Saul, when the messenger came to Gibeah of Saul and told people about this plight, everyone broke into tears. Saul had been plowing a field with his oxen, and when he returned to town, he asked, "What's the matter? Why is everyone crying?" So they told him about the message from Jabesh. Then the Spirit of God came powerfully upon Saul, and he became very angry. He took 2 oxen and cut them into pieces, and sent the messengers to carry them throughout Israel with his message. "This is what will happen to the oxen of anyone who refuses to follow Saul and Samuel into battle." And the Lord made the people afraid of Saul's anger, and all of them came out together as one. When Saul mobilized them at Bezek, he found that there were 300,000 men from Israel and 30,000 men from Judah. So Saul sent the messengers back to Jabesh Gilead. He said, "We will rescue you by noontime tomorrow." There was great joy throughout the town when the message arrived. The men of Jabesh then told their enemies, "Tomorrow we will come due to you, and you can do to us whatever you wish." But before dawn the next morning, Saul arrived, and having divided his army into 3 detachments, he launched a surprise attack against the Amorites and slaughtered them the whole morning. The remnant of their army was so badly scattered that no two of them were left together. Then the people exclaimed to Samuel, "Now, where are those men who said, 'Why should Saul rule over us?' Bring them here, and we will kill them." But Saul replied, "No one will be executed today, for today the Lord has rescued Israel." Then Samuel said to the people, "Come, let us go to Gilgal to renew the kingdom." So they all went to Gilgal, and a sovereign ceremony before the Lord they made Saul king. Then they offered peace offerings to the Lord, and Saul and all the Israelites were filled with joy. Samuel 12. Samuel's farewell address. Then Samuel addressed all Israel. "I have done as you asked, and given you a king. Your king is now your leader. I stand here before you. I'm an old gray-haired man, and my sons serve you. I've served you as your leader from the time I was a boy to this very day. Now testify against me in the presence of the Lord and before his anointed one. Whose ox or donkey have I stolen? Have I ever cheated any of you? Have I ever oppressed you? Have I ever taken a bribe and perverted justice? Tell me, and I will make right whatever I have done wrong." "No," they replied, "you have never cheated and oppressed us, and you have never taken even a single bribe. The Lord and his anointed one are my witnesses today," Samuel declared, that my hands are clean." "He is a witness," they replied. "It was the Lord who anointed Moses and Aaron." Samuel continued, "He brought your ancestors out of the land of Egypt, and now stand here before the Lord as I remind you of all the great things the Lord has done for you and your ancestors. When the Israelites were in Egypt and cried out to the Lord, he sent Moses and Aaron to rescue them from Egypt and bring them into this land. But the people soon forgot about the Lord their God, so he handed them over to Sisera, the commander of Hazor's army, and also the Philistines, and to the king of Moab, who fought against them. Then they cried out to the Lord again and confessed, "We have sinned by turning away from the Lord and worshipping the images of Baal and Ashtoreth. But we will worship you and you alone, if you will rescue us from our enemies." Then the Lord sent Gideon, Bedan, Jephthah, and Samuel to save you, and you lived in safety. But when you were afraid of Nahash, the king of Ammon, you came to me and said that you wanted a king to reign over you, even though the Lord your God was already your king. All right, here is the king you have chosen. You asked for him, and the Lord has granted your request.